Hi everyone, Jared here. Time for the daily market video update. It's Monday afternoon. Things are a little bit quiet, but we did have a very active Asian session yesterday, Sunday afternoon. Sunday evening, UK session Sunday night was a little bit quiet, but lots and lots of movement on that Asian Open Sunday afternoon. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Quick look at how the equities performed today. You can see that we're down to about 25 minutes left before the close. It looks like the stocks have taken a little bit of a, they were a lot more negative this morning. They actually opened about 175 points down. A little bit of a recovery now, about 50 points down. Looks like that'll probably be pretty near the close. S&P's down just a little bit. Nothing too exciting either way. Gold is down a big chunk. That's the big loser for the day. And as gold continues to drop like that, we're going to continue to see some dollar rallying continuing. So watch that. Quick little note on what kind of news we have. Nothing today at all. It's just super quiet. A few smaller announcements, but nothing too important. Tuesday, though, is the next thing that we have, and that's in the UK session, the CPI, which is a pretty important one. We don't have anything Tuesday morning for the US session, so it might be a little bit slow on our US session that morning, but there's always good movements and always good setups. Now, here are a couple of things to look at as we get into this UK or into the Asian session this afternoon and into the UK session. First of all, here were some of the levels. You guys will remember these on the Sunday night video. I talked about looking for this break right here, just of that low, because the market opened up pretty much down there, and it did. It came back and it broke that coming into the not even into the UK session. This was just evening hours, and it ran down 60 plus pips, and then it's kind of retraced a bit and kind of come back. So there's some really good movements. A lot of people in the group took some good pips on that euro dollar move, and so make sure you're watching these videos every single day because there's great setups and great movements. Now, here's what we have going on the euro dollar. It's down all the way down here on this on the fifth daily fib, and so it's kind of in that slightly oversold area. That doesn't mean it's going to stop going down. It just means that it is a little bit on the oversold side, and it's going to need to start doing a little bit of retracement. If we look at some of our fib levels coming down into this area here, we can see that there's the nearest major retracement is quite a ways up, and I'm not really looking for it to make its way that high up in the next little while. You can see that the 38 is all the way up here at almost 139, so that's like 300 pips. Not looking quite for that much retracement, but I do think that we could get this very easily up into the 23, which is about 137.50. That's a very probable situation right there, and that's also the weekly pivot. The market very often will retrace up to or down to that weekly pivot before continuing back down in the direction of the trend. So we've had a very strong trend on this euro dollar. Time for a little bit of retracement and some breakout, some continuation down. Here are the breakout levels to look for. I'm looking at this angled trend line right here, and I think that if we do get that continued push down as we go into the Asian session today and into the UK session, this is going to be our level to watch. And actually, this will be our level to watch either way. But as the market continues to kind of crawl up this level, a nice breakout of this should give us a very good entry. At this point, I'm kind of looking for a sell as the market breaks below about 135.60. Right around there, about 135.60, and you can see that it's almost 13600, so that's about 40 pips. But if it continues to crawl up this level, then that breakout level will be much higher. It'll just be wherever it gets below our trend line here, because so far the trend's down. Everything's definitely showing us some good bearish signals, and so we should be able to get that continuation down. But if it breaks in the next hour or two, look for a break of about 135.60. If it doesn't, then we could have breakouts as high as 135.75, 80, 90. Just kind of depends on how it follows this trend line up. So watch that. You can see it on these smaller time frames. A 15-minute chart has a pretty good setup there, but I think that breakout's going to give us a nice selling opportunity. I'm not really looking for any buying opportunities here, because as we get into some of these levels, this is a fib, this is also our weekly pivot point, and so on, and I think it's going to get a little bit tricky. So just watch it crawl up this level and look for that breakout and continuation to sell it. Same type of thing on the pound dollar here. The pound dollar has basically broken the low here, and I think it's going to be able to maintain this lower position, but we still do have that to kind of consider, which is this low of about July. But I think the pound dollar's got a nice little run to go. The pound is only sitting on the fourth daily fib, so it's got plenty of room to make it down into that fifth. However, it has been holding a little bit stronger than the euro has. So, but this one I think is due for just a little bit of retracement as well. And this is why I have this ascending trend line in here also. It looks pretty small right now, but these are always just great little breakouts right here. Here's our Friday-ish low. The Friday low is really right there, but here's where the market opened low and it kind of bounced off that, and it's really struggled with this kind of 58.20 level. And now it's kind of bumping up along the bottom of that 58.20. So I think if it stays below that, then as you can see on this 15-minute chart right here, it's kind of just bouncing. And I think if we get a break of this trend line, that's going to be a very nice movement. So again, follow this one up. If we get a break somewhere in this area, it could be right around 158.00 is probably what I would say we're going to get on this as far as the breakout goes, about 158.00. And then we should be able to, first of all, trade it at least into these lows here, which is about 25 to 30 pips. But I think much more than that, we'll be able to get it down past that. So for right now, looking for selling opportunities, same type of breakout there. The Aussie dollar is looking a little bit tricky. It's really getting out of that big channel that it for the most part stayed in for several months, minus this little breakout right here. And it looks like it's probably going to be heading into those lows. It's just sitting right at, even just slightly below the third daily fib. And I think that the Aussie dollar will be able to continue down nicely. The entry on this one's a little trickier because I think we need to get some good retracement. It's made some pretty big runs down here. It's broken weekly lows and Friday lows and so on. I'd like to see this retrace just a little bit more and then take it down from there. If we don't get much retracement or really any retracement at all, then what I'm going to be looking for is just kind of breaking these lows right here, which are about 0255 to 60. You can kind of see that right in that area there. That's always just a safe bet. Just trade through the lows. And you can see that it's about 40 pips or so off of that low area right there. So if it kind of hops around and chops around and then it continues to break down through that, we'll trade, first and foremost, the break of this 0255. But if it continues to kind of consolidate and head up, then at that point, probably like on this 5-minute chart, we'll start to draw some ascending trend lines and just watch it bounce up that level. And that should give us a nice little entry on that one. Dollar yen, super choppy. Euro yen, on the other hand, looking very, very good. This is giving us a perfect little setup right here. You can see that it's just same thing, same as all these other pairs. It's just crawling up this level right here. Here's our Friday low. Here's our breakout level, 105, 45, 50, right in that general area. It may break up above that, and if it does, that's okay. I'm just basically looking for whenever it decides to break this ascending trend line and give us that run down. If we look at the 15-minute chart here real quick, once again, we're probably going to be looking at an entry maybe around the break of 10500, 104.90, right in that general area. But remember that the euro yen is reaching historic lows. Or it already is at historic lows. And so it's going to kind of retrace off some of those lower levels just a little bit. But as you can see, technically speaking, and I've made this mistake on the dollar yen before, thinking, technicals were lined up and there's plenty of room to go, but, we get a little bit cautious and concerned about that dollar yen when it gets to certain levels for good reason. The euro yen, again, is at historic lows and so on and so forth. But technically speaking, there's room to go on these daily fibs. There's more downward space, so let's not sell it short, or let's sell it short if it does make that run. So just look for that breakout and that continuation down there. Same thing on the pound yen. Pound yen's just following this level up. Everything's in kind of retracement mode, which is very, very common for the first part of the week to get some of these retracements happening, and you can see this just bouncing up that level on the 1 hour or on the 15-minute chart. So just look for those breakouts. Again, on this pound yen, we're probably going to see some breakout levels right around 122.20, maybe 122.10, right in that general area. Gold, again, big drop on gold, kind of double bottoming here. So we'll see if gold starts to really react to that double bottom and continue down or continue up, then we might see a little bit of slowing in the dollar action there. Pound Swiss franc and dollar Swiss franc, I think, are kind of out because they're just so crazy that you just don't know what's going to happen with those guys for right now. And the rest of these pairs aren't looking too exciting either. So euro yen, pound yen, euro dollar, pound dollar, I think are going to be the big movers. And keep a real close eye on that Aussie dollar as well. We've got some great movements and some great setups. We'll see you guys in the chat, and very best of luck.